In an ancient Indian city nestled at the foot of the sacred Ganges River, there lived a young woman named Lakshmi. She was not only beautiful, but also possessed a sharp mind and a kind heart. However, one thing clouded her happiness. Her husband Rahul, a wealthy spice merchant, was a stubborn and proud man. Lakshmi loved her husband, but their relationship became increasingly difficult. The more she tried to explain to him the right course of action, the more he resisted. He ignored her suggestions in business, dismissed her concerns, and every conversation turned into a battle of strong wills. One day in despair, Lakshmi sought the wisdom of a great sage who lived high in the mountains. This sage was known for his deep understanding of human nature, and people from all over the land came to him seeking advice. When Lakshmi stood before the sage, he listened to her attentively. Then, with a gentle smile, he gestured for her to follow him. They walked to the banks of a wide river where fishermen's boats bobbed on the water. The river flowed smoothly, reflecting the golden rays of the sun. But in one spot, the current was particularly strong, with waves crashing fiercely against the rocks. "Look at the river," the sage said. "Do you see how the water gently flows around the rocks and then returns to its calm state?" "Yes," Lakshmi nodded. "This is how a wise woman behaves. She does not fight against obstacles or try to break them. Instead, she flows around them with patience and grace. And yet, in the end, water always finds its way to where it wishes to go." Lakshmi pondered his words, but the sage simply smiled mysteriously and led her further. They arrived at a farm where two bulls were grazing. One was large and powerful, but wild and unruly. The other was calm, obedient, and trusting. "Try to make the first bull follow you," the sage suggested. Lakshmi took hold of the rope and gently pulled on it. The bull stubbornly planted its hooves into the ground. She then tried pushing it from behind, but it merely snorted and refused to move. "Now try it with the second one," the sage said. Lakshmi reached for the rope again, but noticed that the bull was relaxed, watching her with curiosity. Unlike the first, it did not resist. It simply waited. Then she realized something. The bull did not fear humans and did not need force to be led. It would move on its own if given a reason to do so. Lakshmi took a handful of feed and stretched out her hand. The bull immediately followed her, trusting and eager. "Do you see the difference?" the sage asked. "Yes," Lakshmi replied. "The first bull refuses to be controlled by force, while the second one follows willingly when there is something in it for him." "Men are like these bulls," the sage said. "If you try to pull them forward by force, they will only resist. But if you create a path they wish to follow, they will come willingly." "And what if a man still refuses to listen?" Lakshmi asked. The sage smiled. "Then there is a second way." "What is it?" "Let go of the rope." "You mean I should let him do as he pleases?" "Exactly. Give him the freedom to make his own choices, but remain nearby. Sometimes the only way to lead is to stop trying to lead at all." Lakshmi stood in thoughtful silence, absorbing the wisdom of the sage. "Remember," he continued, "a wise woman does not fight her man. She creates the right circumstances for him to make his own choice in her favor. But if, even then, he moves in a different direction, it means he made that decision long before he ever met her." Lakshmi returned home and stopped arguing with her husband. She no longer offered advice unless he asked for it. Yet she was always there to support him in difficult times. She did not try to impose her views, but listened to his thoughts with interest. Months passed, and Rahul began to notice the change. He started seeking Lakshmi's opinion, valuing her perspective, and sometimes even asking her, "Lakshmi, what would you do in my place?" By changing just one thing, her attitude, Lakshmi achieved what she had struggled for before: respect, trust, and love from her husband. For a woman's true strength does not lie in battles, but in wisdom, which is far more powerful than any commands or demands.